two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night here at IR Bad at Games, and holding down the fort as always is me and Eric, and
Whoa.
we are continuing our journey through Chaos Child. We were playing, this is stream 6. We were played last night. We got up to the end of chapter 3, it looks like. For those of you who are following along, well, you know what happened already, but and congratulations for following along. You deserve a gold star.
Good work. Yeah.
But
I've been here every time, and I'm not sure that I qualify.
But yeah, a quick recap of last night. We spent a day as Miyashiro Takaru, as he attempted to be what he would classify as a normie. He he helped students around the school. He helped Kazuki.
That's right.
With moving some boxes, and saw a delusion of her as Princess Leia. Well, a version of Princess Leia from Star Wars. We helped Arimura with some pamphlets, and briefly had a delusion where we were a gay porn voice actor, and that was fun.
Right. Yeah.
Hey
man, seems like good work if you can get it.
Yeah. We actually helped the students of our class with their Garo Froggy Cafe project, and actually felt kind of good about it. And we got thinking that maybe, we could have fun just being a normal student. And we talked to No
part with stuff, and because apparently it's mutually exclusive. We can either involve ourselves in the newspaper club, which entails investigating murders, or helping around the school for the festival, or the Culture Fest, I think.
The Culture Festival, yeah. And we talked to No, and she's like, "Tell me all about your day." And she was like, "Please, you could have a cool life without wasting, without spending so much time investigating murders." And we're like, "Yeah." And then we had a sleepover in which we had a delusion that Ito was coming on to us.
Right.
And then in the middle of the night, we got a phone call from ourself, which was weird. Someone called Ito's phone from our number, which we dropped in the hospital. And then the next morning,
when we called it back, it had been disconnected.
It had been disconnected,
so it was like on some weird stuff there, something funny going on.
The next morning, we were prepared for our interview with Watabe, the Nikanaya web reporter, famous web reporter, and everyone was so excited for our interview. And right before the interview was supposed to take place, Watabe had a bad day. Let's just say he had a full stomach, and and the fourth murder has taken place. Watabe is apparently the victim. And we ended
Generation Madness killings or something like that.
Or at least the copycat of them.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, a second
version,
iteration of, it's Generation Madness Murders 2.
Yeah. Electric Boogaloo. And we ended with the school going into utter chaos, and Konosata, the no nonsense experiment loving girl who's friends with Kurisu from Steins Gate, has showed up
and moonlights as
a student,
a pirate. Host? I was gonna say DJ, radio host,
podcast host.
Podcast. Yeah, it might be podcast.
Yeah,
technically, they go to Nick and Naya for it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well,
content creator.
Content creator. Yeah.
Influencer even.
Definitely an influencer, yeah. But I know we didn't get the title screen, or at least the chapter screen, but apparently we are in chapter 4 now. Her words.
Looks like. Yeah.
And this is if my timing is correct, this is the one I've been waiting for. So
Oh, this is the big like conversation.
yeah.
What happened here?
She slowly looked around the gym. Her gaze stopped at Watabe's body. Oh, this is her.
What is that? Oh, it's okay. Yeah,
What
you're
is
probably
that?
right.
And then, without moving an eyebrow, she said, "Did you do that?"
Sorry, what, the murder?
Chapter 4. We could have
There,
ended
okay.
like 30 seconds later. We would have been good.
You know,
Ninja. Oh yes, this is the detective.
is that? I see. So the victim, Watabe-san, didn't arrive at the gym on time.
Yes.
So you three, Mishiro-kun, Kazaki-san, and Arimura-san, were waiting when he suddenly appeared on the stage, and then it happened. That's correct?
Yes.
Hmm. Oh, sorry.
After that,
Stealing your line.
we were all in a total daze, and everything happened so fast. The black-haired woman who had suddenly appeared called Detective Shinjo-san, who contacted the police station. Since our club was supposed to have an interview with him, we were questioned in our club room. During the questioning, we could hear students yelling outside, and the sound of dozens of patrol car sirens, but it all quickly faded back into silence. The police had probably sealed off the whole school. There had been no announcement about what was going to happen with the culture festival. But after what happened, there was no way it wouldn't be shut down.
So what then? Ito-kun and Inoue-san went to the room where Watabe-san was waiting before it happened, right? You two didn't see him? Huh? Am I suspect?
That's what Ito must have thought.
Oh.
Because he suddenly started acting strange.
I was right, though, I guess.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. I guess technically that was in main characters.
Yeah.
Either way. Well, there was no one in the waiting room, right, Onoi? Yes, it was empty. What about the student council? Someone is supposed to be taking care of him, right? They weren't there either.
Erica must have been surprised by the sudden question because she started to fiddle with her Garo Froggy cell phone strap. Hey, you.
Huh?
That sound is annoying. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
She must have only then realized she was doing it because she quickly took her hand away from the strap. Onoi, calm down. No one thinks you did it. Except for Eric.
Well, yeah, I do. Yeah. Thank you, Taku. I do, 100%. Arimura-san. Is what those two are saying true?
Yeah, they're telling the truth. It looks like there really was. Looks like there was really no one else there.
There's like a lot of people on goddamn stage at the
Yeah.
here.
There is no doubt in her voice. From the look on her face, you'd think she knew the whole story. And for some reason, Shinjo-san seemed to believe her.
I see. Got it.
He'd believe every word Arimura had said during the entire question. That was hard.
That's all. No, you're good. I'm with you.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Did the two of them trust each other that much?
I guess I'll ask you as well, Arimura-san. What were you doing before you went to the gym?
What are you talking about? I was with you two until just before that. Did you forget? If so, I would recommend a thorough scan of your brain.
Oh no, of course. I knew that. I just have to ask.
Do you?
Protocol.
Shinjo-san scratched his head, and he didn't know, as if he didn't know how to respond. I take that back. There clearly wasn't any trust between the two of them. In fact, he didn't seem to know how to handle her. And why would he trust what she said? Something felt strange. And there was one more thing. Arimura-san said that she was with Shinjo-san until right before she came to the gym. But there had been barely any time between Watabe-san's appearance on the stage and Shinjo-san's arrival. So what had Shinjo-san been doing at the culture festival? Did he know something was going to happen?
Good call, though. That's a good catch.
And then he got in touch with Arimura-san ahead of time?
From what I'm seeing, the odds of you people being involved in his death are low. But then who?
Who killed Watabe? And how?
Did you see anyone suspicious when he was going up on stage?
No, no one.
What about you?
The black-haired girl had been leaning against a wall with her arms crossed. She looked up. Unfortunately, no. By the time I got there, the place was already in a panic. Her voice was as mature and calm as her appearance. She was probably a third-year student, but I'd never seen her around the school before. Maybe the white lab coat was because she was part of the biology club or the science club, but what would a student be doing here with a detective?
You're here. The other, there's 3 students here.
Yeah.
With the detective. I mean,
What
5.
What a nuisance. If you people had been the killers, this would have been nice and easy. What does that mean? It means what I said.
Yeah, no, that's pretty straightforward.
Well, from what I sit, you look a lot more suspicious than me. I'm not the killer. Well, you should know better than anyone if I'm lying. Arimura-san was clearly annoyed. The black-haired girl didn't seem to care in the slightest.
I don't get it. Not now, Konosata-san. That's enough.
Huh. Her name was Konosata-san then. Evidently she knew Arimura-san, but it was clear from their conversation the two of them didn't get along. And for some reason... Hey, you. Huh? Yeah, me? Who else? Well...
Wait.
What have you been staring at? Nothing. Then look down or something. You're bothering me. Oh, okay. I didn't know why, but Kunosada-san seemed to have it out for me too. Not just Arimura-san. What is going on here? What did I do?
You were staring. Weirdly.
I never met this girl before. Why is she acting like this?
You were staring. Weirdly.
No. Wait a minute. Am I wrong? We've actually met somewhere before. Did I do something to tick her off then? It was no good. I tried to remember, and I couldn't. Strangely, her voice. It felt like I heard that voice somewhere before. But where?
Oh my god.
It's no good. I can never remember things when it really matters. It was really bugging me. There was nothing so useless as information that was inside of you, but that you couldn't retrieve when you needed it. Information was only valuable if you could use it.
Anyway, just let me check this one more time. You were below the stage, waiting for the interview to begin. But Watabe-san didn't show up on time, so Ito-kun and Onoe-san went to check on him. A while later, Watabe-san came up on stage and collapsed. Is that correct?
Yes. I suddenly remembered the way Watabe had looked. His eyes were out of focus, but full of terror. He was weeping tears of blood. His hand was stretched out as if seeking help. And the sumo stickers poured out of his mouth, covered in blood and vomit. It was a bizarre scene. I looked over at Arimura-san, and she must have remembered it too, because she was wincing. Blood was coming out of both eyes. He was vomiting something up from his mouth. That something was those strange stickers they call sumo stickers, right? Is forensic doing their job now, Shinjo-san? When's the autopsy?
Be a wild fucking autopsy. Hey, not in front of the children.
In front of the children, huh? Huh. Kunosada-san snorted, annoyed.
Oh, anyway, All of you in the newspaper club have an alibi. You don't need to worry.
I breathed a sigh of relief. Even if I knew I was innocent, I'd still be terrified of being arrested anyway.
But you, Arimura-kun, and Kazuki-kun were all witnesses to the death. I'm sorry, but the officer in charge at the station wants your help with the paperwork.
Yeah. You're taking us down there whether we want to go or not, right?
No, you aren't suspects. We just want your help, that's all. It's a lot of paperwork.
That's what you said last time, too, wasn't it?
Hmm. Ahem, ahem. But anyway, what is it with you people?
What do you mean, you people? Tenjo-san brushed his hand through his bangs. He hadn't cut his hair for a long while.
Never met so many precocious youths in my life.
Huh? With what?
Well, first there was Kakita-san's death. Then that other girl, Kurusunona-san, got stabbed. Whenever something weird happens lately, you're involved. Is it really just a coincidence? No, it's Onaway.
Wow. He was right. Even ignoring what happened to Kurusu, this was another potential homicide like Revolving Dead. But we were just innocent bystanders. I knew that better than anyone. It's really just a coincidence. A coincidence. Konosata interrupted me. Are you really sure about that? Or is there a chance that there's something that's making all of this happen around you, and you just don't know what it is? I tried to say something back to her, but couldn't. Her eyes were that cold. Her eyes were that cold when she looked at me. Damn it, what is with this girl? I was starting to get angry, and there was enough to get me to open my mouth. Did I? What? But I regretted it immediately. She was scary.
Words.
Well, if you want to say something, say it. You're wasting time. Then I'll ask. I'll ask you, did I do something to upset you? Huh? You seem to really dislike me. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, no. If it's just my imagination, then I'm sorry. You shouldn't worry about it, Senpai. She's like that with everyone. With everyone? Was that true? That was okay, then. Not with everyone, only with you people. With us? People? Yes, that's right. You people.
Idiots.
Does she mean me and Arimura-san? Or have we met somewhere before? No. This is the first time I've ever seen your irritating, gloomy face. Damn it. And why does she have to be such a bitch?
Damn. Anyway, given the nature of the death, it's possible that this is related to the other incidents. You mean the return to the new gen madness? Of the new gen madness, rather.
The strange way that Watabe had died, and the fact that today was October 10th. Just like Shinjo-san said, it was possible there was a connection.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the autopsy to know for sure. But the date and the bizarre nature of the crimes match. He said, describing a ongoing investigation.
Right?
In a room full of children. In the newspaper club, no less. By the way, Maeshiro-kun, can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Did you put together that board?
Shinjo-san was looking at the map we put together to follow the case. Yeah, that's right. I did it.
May I take a look?
Shinjo-san stood up without warning for my answer and walked over to the board. Konosata-san moved away from the wall and followed him.
What do you think of this?
Good question. The two of them started to whisper to each other. I tried to listen in, but I couldn't make it out. With nothing else to do, I whispered to Arimura-san. Does Konosata go to our school? For some reason, Arimura-san was staring at me in surprise. Did I say something weird? No, you just stop being so stiff and formal, senpai. Oh, I must have been so distracted by everything else that was going on that I didn't notice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. No, it's fine. I've been telling you to do that for a while now. I understand. I mean, got it, Arimura-san. Arimura? Huh? It's fine without the sound. Oh, okay. Arimura. First, the two of us had been together at the scene at Watabe's death, and now we had that strange, arrogant woman angry at us. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Maybe that's why I was finally able to talk to her normally. Anyway, what were we just talking about?
Nothing. Oh. What?
The two of them are still talking about something in front of the map I made. You don't know? She's a third-year student like you, senpai. Though supposedly she almost never comes to school. She doesn't come to school? She's a truant?
Nice.
I can't say for sure.
I mean, that's kind of how that works, right?
So she was in my grade, but I was sure I'd never seen her at school. Ito and Karusu had a lot of connections. Would they know her? Anyway, who is she? She doesn't seem to like us. I don't know. Wait, I thought you knew her. I just met her a while ago and don't know the details. Yes. Our conversation was cut off by the sudden sound of a phone.
Yeah, excuse me.
Shinjo-san took his phone out of his pocket. It was an old Japanese flip phone. Who still used one of those in 2015? I started to worry about whether a wrong-sider like that was capable of solving this case at all.
Oh, I see. Got it. I'll be on my way.
Someone must have told him to go somewhere, you think? He folded up his phone and put it back in his pocket, then turned to face us.
Like, it really does have a tendency to very clearly explain stuff sometimes. That's like, okay. Yeah, no, that is, in fact, what we just witnessed in the prior three, like, sequences of text. But, okay, thanks. We're leaving now. Someone will be coming to pick you up later. Please just help the guy out, okay?
Fine.
Come on, don't look so annoyed. I'll make sure it doesn't take too long. Anyway, I'm counting on you.
Shinjo-san motioned to Kunosata-san, and the two of them left the room. As she left, Kunosata-san gave us one last cold glance. And the room fell silent. No one felt like talking, so we started to take our phones out or read magazines. Except for me, I didn't have my fucking phone. He said it would be a while for the police would arrive to pick us up. The only thing we could do was kill time.
His option.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
playing
with their phone.
I tried to talk to Arimura, but she either didn't hear me or was ignoring me. She was playing with her phone, too. She seemed to be trying to get in touch with someone. Well, she had a lot of friends, so she may have been asking someone what happened with the culture festival. Maybe I'll go over the case again.
Maybe. Hey, Taku.
Huh? Erica stopped me as I started to head for the board. What is it, Onoe?
What exactly is a psychic?
Huh? Psychic? Wait.
Oh my god.
Psychic?
Arimura is a psychic. Okay.
Like those con artists you see running dingy little shops? Can't be. Are you talking about a manga or something?
No, just now, Shindo-san.
Shinjo-san, you mean?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Shinjo-san was just talking about them with the girl in the white lab coat.
You can actually hear what they were saying?
Oh, because she's psychic.
It was true. It was true that the two of them had been mumbling in front of the board. I could barely hear it, but Serica was evidently able to make out some words from where she was sitting.
Something strange about the strange phenomenon of the sumo stickers and psychics. Wondered if it had something to do with the case.
If they were talking about it now, then of course it had something to do with the case. But still, psychics? Like a mind reader or something? Or someone who could move stuff with his brain? They didn't think this was all being caused by psychics with superpowers or something, did they?
Wild.
There's no way the police would seriously think that, right?
You sure you didn't mishear it?
Both Ito and Kazuki were looking at her questioningly.
That's some wild shit. I don't think so. I'm sure that's what I heard.
Hey, Arimura, do you have any idea what she's talking about? She spent time with Shinjo-san, so maybe she knew, but... Arimura? Huh? Oh, what's that? I don't watch anime. She didn't really seem interested. Well, that's what most people our age would think when they heard the word psychic. Oh no, did you hear anything else they said?
Anything else?
She was about to open her mouth. But then the sound of the door opening cut her off.
At least we lost some characters.
Hey, Miyashiro-kun, Kazuki-kun, are you here? Arimura-kun, too. Sir? Good, good. You're all still here. It's time to go to the police station.
Wild.
Huh? I thought the police were coming to get us. I'm going with you. You're not criminals. You're just students at this school. If the police want to talk with you, I think it makes sense for me to take you there.
Oh, he's gonna kill him.
Well, aren't I a good teacher?
Dang
As
it.
if he ever actually done anything for us as our advisor. But still, I felt just a little relieved.
I was certain it was on the way.
All right, let's go. Oh, Ito-kun and Inoue-kun, you two are to go home immediately. Got it?
Right. Okay.
The two of them started to get ready. Sir? Oh, what is it? What's going to happen with the culture festival? I don't know. They're having a meeting about it right now.
I'm not really involved in the decision-making process with stuff like this.
That's all he said before he left the room. It was strange. Why had I asked that? I don't care about the culture festival anyway. You're lying.
Got him.
Huh?
I can see
Lying?
Rain Hole.
How? I wanted to ask what she meant, but it was clear she wasn't going to tell me. She followed Mr. Wakui out into the hallway. What's wrong, Miyashiro-kun? I could hear him from outside the room. Hmm? Kazuki looked over at me and made a let's go gesture. Oh, there's something I wanted to know, no matter what. What Serika just said about Shinjo-san and Konosata-san seriously discussing the word psychics. Mr. Wakui's entrance had interrupted our conversation, but I wasn't sure if it was okay to really write the idea off as silly nonsense. Excuse me, if we're going to the police station, it's going to take a lot of time, right? Probably, yeah. Then can I gather up my things and take them with me? I don't want to leave them here. Oh, you're right. Arimura-kun, you go to your classroom and get your things, too. I'll wait at the entrance. Okay. I listened to the two of them walk away. Okay, that should buy me a little time. Hey, on the way.
What is it, Taku?
Shh. Can you tell me more about what you were saying before? Where is the target? Being questioned for their involvement in the case. A suspect? It appears unlikely. But they may have finally noticed. Understood. Continue. Of course. Ami-chan and Max Caddy. October 10th, 2015. Saturday. Shinjo grimaced. The smell of death was enough to make him nauseous. Watabe Tomoke's body had been taken to a university hospital and put on an autopsy table less than 2 hours after his death. Normally, an autopsy would never be held this quickly. There was paperwork that needed to be filled out, and the family needed to agree. But Watabe's death was so bizarre that a cause of death needed to be found as soon as possible. Shinjo had taken a hard line with his superiors and used rather forceful methods to get the family permission to perform a lightning-fast autopsy. The police force as a whole seemed determined to avoid a repeat of the failures 6 years ago. But what was truly unexpected was Konosata's statement that she would attend the autopsy as well. Since he couldn't let a civilian, especially a high school girl, attend an autopsy unsupervised, he'd been forced to go with her. The hospital's autopsy room was kept clean and very different from the musty atmosphere you often saw in foreign movies. But to Shinjo, the invisible smell of death was still thick in the air. There was nothing.
They've got masks on.
Yeah.
I hate in shows they got people cutting into dead bodies and nobody's got a mask.
Yeah.
Just like, that's wildly unsafe.
It was nothing like seeing a body at a crime scene. It was almost physically uncomfortable. But Konosata Miya, as far as he could tell, didn't seem bothered at all. Shinjo and Konosata was watching the autopsy from the waiting room next door. The wall had glass to allow them to see into the room. The external and internal examinations had been completed, and now they were opening up the stomach and examining it.
Did you expect this to happen?
Expect?
Why did you insist on going to see Watabe's interview today? Oh, not only that, you ordered Arimura Hine to make contact with Watabe yesterday. Don't tell me you're actually the one behind all this, okay? No, I mean, like, don't tell me.
If I could do it, maybe I would. Shinjo couldn't tell if he was serious or not. He spent the last several days with her, but he still had no idea what she was thinking. I did think that Watabe might be killed. I told Arimura to make contact with him so that I could be sure. But I certainly didn't expect that he would be killed today.
What would you have learned if Arimura Hine had been able to make contact with Watabe?
She didn't answer him. Even though he was sharing police information with her, would it really kill her to be a little more cooperative? Don't you think Watabe landed too many big scoops in his short career?
Oh, yeah? What about it?
Just as he spoke, he heard a muffled moan come from the coroner.
It's gonna be really gross.
What the? There were microphones in the autopsy room that would let them hear anything said there.
What's wrong?
I can't believe this.
What's going on?
Shinjo pounded on the glass and motioned for the coroner to explain. The coroner nodded and moved the body so that they could see it better. Then he held up a pair of tweezers. He plunged the tweezers into Watabe's open abdomen. From where Shinjo and Konosata were standing, they couldn't see inside. The tweezers seemed to grab something. Look at this. That was all he said as he lifted up the tweezers. Between them was a sumo sticker in excellent condition. This was found in the stomach. It shouldn't look like that. It wasn't twisted or broken. The sticker was almost entirely intact. That's not all. This is insane. Suddenly, Konosata opened the door leading into the autopsy room.
Hey, you can't just...
You couldn't go in there without changing your clothes or disinfecting yourself. He tried to tell her that, but gave up. It was more important to find out what the coroner had seen. So he followed her in, even though he knew he wasn't supposed to.
Just cut open the stomach. Have fun breathing in.
Right?
Nose wide.
The coroner said nothing. He just stood there silently, holding his tweezers. Even Konosata was shocked by what she saw inside the body. So was Sinjo.
This is
He covered
fucked.
his mouth with a handkerchief. It was just too bizarre. Watabe's stomach was so swollen, it seemed ready to burst. And inside the stomach, he could see not just dozens, but hundreds of sumo stickers. We haven't confirmed it yet, but the esophagus shows similar signs of swelling. There's a good chance that it's filled with stickers as well.
How could you get that
What's the most likely cause of death?
goddamn? Suffocation.
Probably suffocation.
Yup.
So is this what you're telling me?
That's what I just said.
Watabe swallowed sticker after sticker after sticker until he eventually suffocated.
No.
No one, not Sinjo nor the coroner, said a word.
You need like a broom handle to like pack it in that tight.
By the time Kazuki and I got back from the police station, the school looked completely different.
Oh,
The bustling school building was now almost completely empty.
completely.
All the police tape was gone except from the gym where the death had occurred. They must have finished their examination of the area. From the looks of things, if I went back to the club room, I probably wouldn't find anyone there. But for now... Huh?
Oh god, sorry. Oh, Taku-chan, Hana-chan, welcome back. Hey, you're back faster than I expected.
Sarah and Itu were there.
And where's Arimura?
She went straight home after we left the station. Were you guys waiting for us?
I don't want to wait for a guy. I was waiting for Kazuki.
Suzuki gave Ito a little bow.
Hana-chan, don't let him trick you. Shin-chan's just being slow about cleaning up.
Huh?
Hey, don't tell her that.
Well, that's what I figured, but I felt a lot better. I could still see that awful corpse when I closed my eyes. Since I hadn't eaten anything since this morning, there was nothing to go up my throat except stomach acid. And because of that, my esophagus was starting to hurt. Just being able to talk to everyone like this made me feel a lot better. Oh, but if you're cleaning up, does that mean they canceled the festival, you think?
Yup. There was an announcement right after you left.
I see. I was thinking they might just postpone it.
Probably not. Well, I mean, it makes sense. There was a murder, after all.
And since it might have to do with all the other strange deaths, school probably didn't have much of a choice.
I don't know how much that would matter. So, how'd things go for you? They didn't treat you like the killers, did they? Excuse me. Did they go okay?
Why would they suspect me? I'm an important witness.
That's the reason, though. In a mystery, the witnesses are always suspects.
You watch too many detective shows.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
But still, just like Sinjo-san had said earlier, it would make sense if they suspected me, I think. This was the second time after the revolving dead incident that someone had died near me.
Real shit. Anyway, something really did happen today. That means our guess was right, doesn't it?
Yeah. I leaned my tired body back into a chair and looked at the map on the wall. Now there was even more evidence. We could be certain at this point that what happened this morning was in some way related to the new Gen Madness. But we still didn't know who had done it or why. The sumo stickers that made me sick every time I saw them were the only clue we had. And this time they were used as a murder weapon in Watabe's death.
Well, what'd you say?
To be honest, I didn't really want to remember that. There was no way to know this unless you'd experienced it for yourself, but seeing something in a video and seeing it in person were two radically different things. The biggest difference was
those tweezers were huge.
Yeah.
If those stickers were that big when he was anyway, sorry. Like scale.
The biggest difference was the smell. Even if there was no blood, like this morning, there was still a unique stench in the air. Part of it was the smell of vomit and the excrement that slid out of the body after the
Ooh.
muscles had relaxed. But it was more than that. There was a unique stench that corpses possessed. Smell of death, you might call it. Whenever I saw a body in my mind, I also remember that scent.
No good. The police said he suffocated, right? His mouth was full of sumo stickers. Did they jam the stickers in his mouth until he choked? Why did the killer do that? And wait, do you think it's the same guy who committed the other murders too? What do you mean? Because,
Ito stopped and shrugged. I knew what he was trying to say.
it makes for a good narrative.
If we assume that all these incidents were related, compared to Don't Look, Audio Bleed, and Revolving Dead, this murder seemed very different. The killer had jammed sumo stickers into the victim's mouth until he choked. It was cruel, sure, but it also felt sloppy, brutal, and crude. But I thought so too, until I heard what the police were saying. But when I was leaving the station, I heard the cops talking about the results of the autopsy. They said Watabe's stomach was filled to the brim with sumo stickers.
Oh,
This case was every bit as weird as the other three.
that's so brutal.
I tried to get out of the chair. I was still a little tired, so I staggered a bit. It seems to me that if you look at all the incidents in order, it's clearly part of the same set.
You mean there's something this has in common with the incidents before?
That's what I want to talk about. I'll go everything in order. That's right. What I was about to explain included a critical factor that we never even considered before. It was what I talked to Sarika about before I left the police station. Can you tell me more about what you were saying before?
Before?
You said that Shinjo-san and Konosata-san were talking about psychics and some kind of mystery?
Oh, what was that again? I remember. They said all the incidents so far were really weird.
Of course they're weird. That's why we're investigating them.
Oh no, that's not what they meant. People who died.
Hmm?
Do you know the name of the first victim's stream? The one in the Don't Look case.
Today I learned I can see the future, right?
They were saying maybe he really could see the future.
Well, we didn't see his death coming.
Oh.
Huh? That's crazy. Was it some kind of joke?
He's a stock trader. And then the next one was Audio Bleed. They said that the people who came to her concerts were kind of weird.
Weird. How?
Like they were all in some kind of fever trance or something. The songs themselves were nothing special, but it was like they were obsessed with her voice.
What? I don't really get what you're saying.
I don't know. That's just what they were talking about.
Whatever. Did they say something about Revolving Dead too?
Supposedly he was just a part-timer, but he'd made a lot of sales.
That's not just because he was good at his job.
Yeah, but it was more like he knew exactly what his clients wanted. Some people started a rumor that he was actually bugging people's offices. That's everything I heard.
Yeah, great job. Thanks for catching all that.
Was it useful?
Yeah. Shinjo-san and Kunosada-san were talking very softly, so I hadn't been able to hear them at all. It was definitely thanks to Sarika that we had this information. But still, psychic powers? That's impossible. Hey, Miyashiro-kun, are you ready yet? Oh, sorry, I'll be right there. After what I'd heard from talking to Sarika, it was unbelievable. And if I look at all the cases so far in light of that, I'm going to go over the case once more to make sure of all this. Take a look. I turned to face the board on the wall. When I did so, I could feel strength coming back to my tired body and mind. Good. I was fine. What happened this morning hadn't made me afraid. Everyone looked at the Shibuya map, even Kazuki. What? You're not going to go play Elder Scrolls 2? For some reason, Kazuki always participated when we used this. Well, whatever. I should start with the first case. The key points to focus on were what I'd heard from Serica before going to the police station, and what I knew about the victims. Together, they implied that... I see, so that's it. No, wait, that can't be right. But that would explain everything. Actually, there were a lot of things that could only be explained that way. My mind was racing, and I soon felt a curiosity welling up within me that overrode the terror and disgust I'd felt when I was at the scene of the murders. Yeah, that has to be it. It's unbelievable, but it's possible. It was probably a stupid idea.
Jacques! Sorry.
But if it were true, it would be incredible. It would change everything we thought we knew about the world.
I was reading the line, I didn't realize it.
What is it? It's creepy when you just laugh like that out of nowhere.
I can't help it. Nothing. I'm just glad to see you back to normal.
Oh. Now that I thought about it, I'd gotten so excited that I'd forgotten about the nightmares that were going on around me. I should get back on topic. I realized something. This may not have any direct connection to the killer, but I discovered something the cases have in common that's important. It might even be world-changing.
Oh god, sorry.
Hmm? I could see Kazuki gasp in surprise.
Seriously? Wow.
Everyone was looking at me as I explained everything piece by piece. First, Watabe's murder was part of what people were calling the return of New Gen Madness.
I said this before, but didn't he just suffocate to death?
No, that's not completely accurate. Watabe suffocated, yes, but not just from having the sumo stickers stuffed into his mouth.
Wow, what do you mean?
I stopped for a moment and took a deep breath. I knew that when I imagined it, I was going to shiver again. His entire stomach was full of sumo stickers when he died. Everyone's eyes went wide. I could tell they were trying to figure out the meaning of what I just said.
Inside his stomach too? Is that...
That's right. He willingly swallowed, or was forced to swallow, a huge amount of sumo stickers. Since they were found undamaged in his stomach, we know he didn't chew them either. That's how he suffocated and died. That's what happened.
That's... Oh.
That's not sloppy. That's insane.
Which means that this incident is just like the others then, huh?
I nodded and wrote down a brief overview of Watabe's death and pinned it to the map.
Ruh-roh. Wait, Michiro. Is it important enough to overturn everything we know about the world?
No. That was just confirming that his death was the same as the other murders. I'm about to get to my main point. I stopped talking for a second and looked around at everyone's faces. Yeah. First, the victim in the Don't Look case, Utani Yuma. He said he could see the future.
It's just his silly gimmick.
Just let me finish. Ito shrugged and stopped talking. As for Takiyanagi Momone, the girl in Audio Bleed case, her fans all claimed her voice had a strange power to it. They said that just listening to it could put you into a trance.
Nope, that's what the detective was saying. It's no different than people dancing at the club though, right? There's nothing unusual about songs and music putting people into a trance. There's a whole genre.
But you need pretty specific conditions to create that effect though, right? That's basically the whole point of a club. But Takiyanagi Momone did all her concerts on the street with no equipment at all.
Well, whatever. Keep talking.
And then there's the victim of the revolving dead case, Akita Hironori. Supposedly, he was capable of reading his clients' minds.
Wait, you're not saying...
Ito seemed to realize what I was trying to say. That's my partner for you. He's got good intuition. I said the expression was different on the sumo sticker in Watabe's photo, right? I'd already told everyone that the expression on the sumo sticker I'd photographed at the Love Hotel and the one on Watabe's article were different. At first, I thought it was photo editing or something. There were rumors that Watabe was doing that, in fact. But evidently, that's not it. I asked the detective and he told me that there were no signs that Watabe's photo was digitally altered. Which means there was a chance that many of Watabe's too-good-to-be-true photographs weren't taken with a camera. He probably used some sort of form of psychic photography.
Fucking wild.
I wrote everything that occurred to me down on a memo and pinned it to the map.
You don't put that on the board. You don't just leave that written around.
Ito laughed as I put it up.
No, wait. Come on. You can't be serious. Shin-chan, did you figure it out from that?
Kazuki seemed irritated that Ito had figured out the answer before her. She started to bang on the wall like she always did. Hey, come on, stop that.
So basically, this is what you're trying to say, right? What all these victims have in common is that they all did things that would seem impossible. And that means they...
Yes, it means that they have special powers.
Otagon used tricks to control others' minds.
That's right, they all
had some kind of special power, right?
Ito took the words right out of my mouth.
Special? What do you mean?
Oh no, I heard Shinjo-san use the word psychic. They had psychic powers.
Psychic powers? Psychic powers? If this is a mystery novel, the readers would be so pissed off right now.
Unfortunately, this isn't a book. It's real.
Love that. So that's all the more reason, right, everyone?
Ito looked around the others, expecting them to agree. But while Kazuki had looked surprised for a moment, she quickly returned to her usual inscrutable expression, and Sarika was excited about something completely different.
Psychic powers, so like, what? You can turn invisible and sneak inside the girls' locker room.
No. Where did that come from? Well, I mean, that might be one power, but normally it means it's more like telepathy or something.
Oh, telepathy? That's great. You wouldn't need a cell phone. You can make calls for free.
Forget it. I should just give up on trying to talk to her about anything complicated.
She's right, though.
Yeah?
She's right, though. You wouldn't need a cell phone. It's genius. But once you start talking about psychic powers, where do you start? Like, you could say that someone used psychic powers to kill them from a distance.
No, I don't think they're that powerful. Like,
well, okay, but
like maybe you only get one power or something. And don't forget, it's not the killer who has the powers, it's the victims.
But like, if the victims have them, we can assume that the killer might have them as well, right?
Well, yeah, that was certainly possible. Or, no, it might actually be very likely.
Come to think of it.
Sarika cut the two of us off. Her voice was easygoing and unconcerned.
Didn't you say something about an urban legend? Like that on Reddit or something. Something about how if you lived in Shibuya, you could get strange powers.
Oh, that's right. How can I have forgotten something so important?
To the plot. I mean, yeah, I heard that too. But that's supposedly because of the spirits of the people who died in the earthquake make a home inside your body. You're getting haunted? That's too far of a leap in logic for me.
What if the thing about the spirits came later and only the powers themselves were real?
Even so, I don't know about that. I say where there's smoke, there's fire, right? I don't. Does that mean that there are spirits because there are powers, or what are you saying? Oh no. Setting fires where there weren't any before is exactly what Reddit does, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's true, but.
But Ono, I heard them say something about psychics, didn't she?
That's right. Yes, the policeman was talking about it. But that doesn't mean.
Ito still didn't seem willing to accept it. Well, I mean, I could understand that. Even I thought this was a little crazy. But for some reason, it felt to me like this was the explanation closest to the truth. I understand what you're trying to say, but can we at least consider it as a hypothesis?
Well, maybe.
He fell silent. Normally, Kazuki would have gotten bored with all this talking and gone back to her computer, but today she wasn't moving. She wasn't participating in our conversation, but for once, she seemed interested.
You only talk about psychics, so, like, I mean, come on. Well, even if your theory is right, what does that have to do with the other thing they have in common? The other thing they have in common?
The sumo stickers.
Oh, right.
The sumo stickers were involved in this case, too. No, you could say that this time they were actually the murder weapon.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Why does every crime scene have a sticker there anyway? Normally, you'd leave it on the body of the person you killed. I think they call it a divining message. See, a diving message, even.
A dying message, yeah.
Oh, okay, she was fucking up anyway, so I could have stuck with divining and it would have been fine.
But this time the stickers themselves were the murder weapon, so that doesn't count. Which means that the killer put them there.
Oh, that's you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's you. I'm sorry.
You're fine, man. I'm struggling. They're not on screen. I've got like, I start reading reflexively something. Which means that the killer put them there. Maybe it was to say that they were the ones who did it, or maybe
to send a message to someone. Means the card would have had some kind of meaning that all the victims understood. But the only thing they have in common that we know about now is that they all had special powers.
Oh, a phone's ringing.
Erica took her phone out from her pocket and looked at the screen, then frowned and looked at me.
Say that before I answer my fucking phone. It's from Non-chan.
So, we've just introduced 3 ramen restaurants in Kichijoji that are so popular the lines are stretching out the door. Well, did you see one that caught your eye?
The second one, where you dip the noodles in the sauce, that caught my eye. Using a miso-style broth instead of seafood for the base strikes me as very innovative.
That's right. They've adjusted the miso so it works as a dipping sauce, and it's not as heavy as you'd think.
They just put something on screen, didn't they? Breaking news. This afternoon, freelance journalist Watabe Tomoke-san, age 22.
There was a large sign on the top of the screen which read, "Freelance journalist Watabe Tomoki-san dies violently during speech."
Not quite during speech. The Shibuya police are still deciding if it's a murder or a suicide and are performing a detailed investigation into Watabe-san's health and the cause of his death. Watabe-san was in the news recently for writing an article. It connected the string of suicides that have been plaguing Shibuya lately with the large amount of the so-called sumo stickers that have been found in the area.
You hear? Watabe's dead.
What? You mean the Watabe? Wow, that's a shock.
Oh.
Watabe, I'm gonna cry.
You knew him?
No, but I thought he was great.
Just a fan, huh? Lol.
He seemed really smart.
You know, when you look at him, he's not all that hot.
So it was his face in the end?
Why'd he die anyway? I don't know, but it's what they're saying on Rhine.
Wasn't he on TV yesterday?
He was writing an article about how the sumo stickers in Shibuya are bad news.
What? He was the one putting them up?
No.
He didn't put them up.
A sumo stickers has something to do with the case. A new generation madness, you know?
Was Watabe killed?
And the people putting up the sumo stickers? Scary shit, lol. Those eyes are God's eyes.
Oh.
Those eyes are God's eyes.
I see.
Those gods are eyes, guys. Those guys are... Yeah.
I would disconnect from that little chat room.
According to an announcement by the Shibuya Metropolitan Police on the afternoon of the 10th around 1 p.m., Watabe Tomioka was found dead. The Shibuya police were investigating both the possibility of an accident as well as a potential murder or suicide, and are looking into the cause of Watabe-san's death and any illnesses he may have had. First post, rest in peace. Skipping the ASCII art, rest in peace, laws. The Schadenfreude is giving me a boner. You had to dance with hard luck, huh? Rest in peace. That's what you get. Who? Rip. Rest in peace. Whose eyes are those eyes? Oh. Rest in peace, Law. Did he learn too much? Oh. It's the same person now. The darkness of the sumo stickers run deep. Wait, this is seriously scary. How come you guys are laughing? Someone had to have killed him, right? Holy shit. That's the fucking 10th. Today's the fucking 10th. New generation madness, so it's begun. Ripper and Pepperinos. The sumo stickers are God. No objections allowed. Glad that asshole's dead. Which one of you guys did this? That's what you get! Huh? So the dates match again? Those eyes are God's eyes? Why do you guys hate him so much? He was just some loser plagiarist. Rest in peace. So, who's this guy again? Don't put out a breaking news update just because his dumbass died. I was recording fucking code. Worship the sumo stickers. Die. That proves it. The next one will be on 10/23. The sumo stickers are God. No objections allowed. Repent your sins. There will be more victims. You kidding me, Law? This guy reports on all this stuff and ends up and killed himself. The sumo stickers are God. The sumo stickers are God. The sumo stickers are God. Turn into new generation madness. Don't look up. Audio bleed. Revolving dead. And the last one under debate. You're late. That's what I'm here to see. The sumo stickers are God. Our God. Our God. Ended up just like what Tabi said, huh? The sumo stickers will save the world. The same person posting the same thing about the sumo stickers over and over. I'm looking at the ID. Troll somewhere else. Maybe Watabe himself killed himself to prove the article was right. If so, he's got my respect. A marvelous carnival is about to begin. The sumo stickers are God. What is happening in Shibuya? The sumo stickers are God. The sumo stickers are God. Oh God. Oh God. Rest in peace.
That's a lot. And it is, yeah, that same idea. Oh man, I have no idea, positive or negative.
I silently looked up at the building. I'll go negative on this one.
Okie doke.
The lights were on in the room at the end of the living room. I don't remember either. The lights were on in the room at the end of the living room on the 3rd floor, which meant that she was awake. I knew she would be, but even so, I couldn't help but sigh. That was the end of my last hope. After Sarah could answer the phone, she handed it to me without saying a word. Just like I expected, her voice was calm. Both me, Sarika, and Ito knew from experience that meant she was angry. She told me to come home immediately in a flat, emotionless voice. I couldn't even make any excuses. I'd been hoping she'd been asleep when I got here, but now I realize there was never any chance of that. No, I didn't know that for certain. I didn't know for certain that she wanted to talk about what happened today. It might be about something else. Negative trigger. Maybe Karusu was feeling worried too. I was already a witness to one death, and now today I'd seen another. They were all part of the same series of murders, and the killer hadn't been caught yet. Maybe I was in a pretty dangerous position. I was trying to find a killer, just like the police. It was possible that I'd gotten in too deep, and now the killer would come after me. Wait a minute. Karusu was the vice president of the newspaper club, and my sister. Maybe she was in danger too. It wasn't that long ago that she'd also been stabbed. They'd arrested the guy who'd attacked her, but I heard that he was practically insane. What if the real killer had sent him to stab Kurusu? What if the person who found my phone saw Kurusu's photo and phone number, and now they were after her? That's overthinking things. I tried to tell myself that as I went inside the house. But when I knocked on Kurusu's door, no answer. I thought she might be asleep and tried to open the door, but it was locked from the inside. I'd seen the lights on from outside, so maybe she was sleeping with them on? I didn't see Dad, Yui, or you two anywhere. The house was always so lively, but now it seemed eerily quiet. Why wasn't there anyone here? Where had they gone? Did they go to get food and leave Kurusu here? But I looked at the time, and normally this would have been when Dad was closing up the hospital. The front door, that is, the door to the clinic itself, was still unlocked. All the lights were still on. There's no way, right? I suddenly had a horrible thought, and I started thinking of even worse things. I decided to try calling Kurusu's cell phone from the line in the house. I heard the sound of a ringtone. It was coming from Kurusu's room. He was asleep after all. Why would she call me here and then go to sleep? What the heck was she thinking? Hey, Kurusu, wake up! Open the door! Kurusu, wake up! Come on! And this was strange. I was pounding on the door and there was no response from the inside. I had a bad premonition. There was no way. It wasn't possible, right? I tried to tell myself that everything was fine, but it wasn't working. I decided to kick down her door. I ran inside the room and gasped at what I saw. The whole room was covered in red. The walls, the bed, the carpets, the desk, the stuffed animals. The room was covered in bright red blood everywhere I looked. The smell of blood was so strong that I almost threw up, and I couldn't bring myself to take another step inside. Whose blood was this? There was no sign of Kurusu in the room. He was gone. Not only were Dad, Yui, and Yuto missing, but so was Kurusu. She disappeared, leaving behind all this blood, leaving behind her smartphone. She disappeared without a trace. The door was locked from the inside. Even the windows were locked. The word missing persons case flashed through my mind, but I knew it was much worse than that. I fell on my knees and held my head in my hands. I knew that Dad, Yui, and Yuto, and Kurusu too, were never coming back. That was just a daydream, but I couldn't say for sure that it wouldn't happen. The position I was in was just that dangerous.
Almost like
when I went inside,
he was investigating a murder as a part of your high school newspaper.
When I went inside, she was sitting on the bed waiting for me. Shouldn't you be lying down? Your wound's gonna open back up.
I yelled, you had to go down to the police station again?
Kurusu cut me off. Her voice was calm and level. Normally, this would have been a relief, but in Kurusu's case, it just made me feel more scared.
That's correct, isn't it?
Who told you about that?
It does not matter, does it? Is it true? Well,
Tarahara-kun must have told her. Damn it, why do you have to tell Kurusu of all people? I knew I was in for another lecture. No, I'd be lucky if it was just a lecture. If it was anything worse, I didn't want to think about it. Her voice was this calm, it was a warning sign. I needed to proceed cautiously.
Why are you being so quiet? Could you not hear me?
He suddenly changed. You're kidding me. Normally I'd get at least a little more time. Or charge or change? Charge.
Should I ask again? Is what I just said.
I can hear you just fine.
Then why didn't you say anything?
I'm sorry.
Well, it doesn't matter. So...
Yes. What you said is... It's true. But it's not my fault. There was a murder. I had no control over it. You know what happened with Watabe, right? I tried to stop my voice from shaking because I told her everything that had happened that day. So, you see, the reason we had to go to the police station was that we were key witnesses. There was no other reason, really.
I swear I didn't kill him.
Bruce was watching me with extremely cold eyes the entire time I talked. I somehow managed to look back at her as I shared something that wasn't an excuse that I'd been feeling lately. You know, things do seem a little strange lately.
Strange. Ow. How so even?
Well, at first, we were pursuing the case because we were interested in it. But now, it feels like the case is pursuing us. The case is pursuing us. When I said that, I realized how accurate it felt. That was the only way I could think of to describe what happened today. It was Watabe who had asked for an interview with us, and Watabe had died in front of us before we'd even talked to him. We hadn't had a choice in any of it.
Yesterday.
Rusu opened her mouth quietly.
You told me yesterday, didn't you?
Huh?
You said you think about it yesterday, didn't you? Whoops.
That's...
Whatever.
I had said that, yes. I meant it, but a lot of stuff happened today, and there's something new that I learned.
Oh?
When I was talking to everyone in the club room, I realized that all the victims had something in common. You see, they all... And then I stopped. I wasn't sure if Caruso would understand what I was trying to say, but I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I just told her exactly what had happened. All of the victims had something special happen to them. They could see the future, or read minds, or use psychic photography. I guess you could call them psychic powers.
Psychic powers?
Caruso froze. You probably hadn't been expecting that. That's right. There's a chance they all had some kind of power. If I'm right, and this is more than just a case. This is about more than just a case. It may change everything we think we know about the world. Isn't that amazing? Then I realized she was acting strange. Her gentle smile had vanished, and she was sitting there expressionless. I realized that I made a mistake, but it was too late. She was just about to blow. When she got like that, it meant she was building up her anger for an explosion. The only thing I could do now was wait for the thunder to come crashing down on me. Here it comes. I closed my eyes. But I waited and waited, and nothing happened. I opened my eyes and saw...
Please.
Rusu looking weaker than I'd ever seen her before.
Okay, please stop this. Don't do anything else.
He reached out with shaking hands to grab my arms. Rusu?
I'm scared.
Huh?
When I think about what could happen if you get involved in this, that something might happen to you. I just don't know what to do. I'm so scared. You know what it feels like too, don't you? To lose someone you care about. I don't want to lose my family again. I don't want to lose the people I care about. So please, Tako, stop pursuing that horrible case, please.
Rusu seemed so weak, like she was about to cry. I was shocked. I never thought she'd let me see her like this. Oh, so that's it. I hadn't truly understood how much I'd been making Caruso worry. Her hands gripped me tighter, and she was trying to stop me. As if she was trying to stop me. As if she was clinging to me. A gasp of pain slipped out of her mouth. Maybe her wound had opened up again? But she kept on clinging to me so tightly. She held me and wouldn't let go. I was a fool. I was such a fool. I'd gotten cocky just because I learned something new and forgot about how much this would hurt the people close to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that I'd worried you so much. But I removed Caruso's hand from my arms as gently as I could.
Huh?
There's one thing I need to do. Just let me do this one thing.
Is it that important?
Yeah.
More important than your family?
Probably just as important.
Just as important? What could possibly be?
I need to get my phone back. My phone was stolen that night. Now it was in the hands of a mysterious girl who was either connected to the killer or was maybe the killer herself. I didn't know. But given what I'd seen so far, there was no way she wasn't connected somehow. So I had to get it back no matter what.
That's not.
I have to. It's got the newspaper club's data on it and information about this place too. If someone sees it,
Data? You mean our contact information and all our reporting? But didn't you say your phone has a lock on it?
I did, but it's still possible that someone could bypass it somehow. If psychic powers really did exist, someone might have a way to get the data all off of it. And then something terrible might happen.
Psychic to data.
Oh.
I don't even know.
We just had a trigger.
Yeah? Did it?
Involuntary trigger. No, it's involuntary.
Great. We didn't get to pick this one.
Suddenly the lights went off and the room was plunged into darkness. The darkness was so sudden that my eyes didn't have time to adjust. I could barely see anything. Kurusu? What's wrong? Hey! But even though she was right in front of me a second ago, she didn't answer. There was only the silent darkness. Kurusu? Answer me! Where did you go? I don't know. You want it?
No idea. Okay. Caruso, no, isn't here. I killed her already.
Suddenly, a voice came from the darkness. I turned toward it and I saw a small shadow standing there.
Miyashiro Takuru. Yeah, right.
Who are you?
A stupid question. If you hadn't gotten involved, you wouldn't have to die.
Her hands were filled with knives.
Oh,
The silver
no.
blade shone with a bloody crimson light. No, it wasn't just a light that looked like blood. There was some liquid dripping down from it that looked just like... No, that's not it. That's blood. That's real blood.
That's right. It's blood. I told you. I killed Caruso. No.
The girl with the knives pointed to a corner in the darkness and grinned. I saw the silhouette of something that looked like a head. It was rolling on the ground. Caruso! Caruso!
It's too late for regrets, Miyashiro Takuru. This is all your fault.
She smiled and started to walk toward me. Ah! Run! Yui! Yuto! Dad! I screamed out into the hallway, but there was no answer. I heard nobody call back to me.
Oh, it's useless. Your little sister, your brother, your dad. I killed them all.
Huh? Huh?
You're the only one left. Now die. It's a bad dream. Takuru. What's wrong, Takuru?
Huh? I suddenly found myself back in Caruso's room. She was reaching a hand out toward me, concerned. She'd been stabbed because of me, but she wasn't dead. She was alive. It was just a delusion. I wiped the sweat off my forehead and told Caruso over and over again that I was fine. But that delusion was... If I wasn't careful, it could become real. The data on that smartphone was too dangerous. Of course, that wasn't the only reason I wanted to go back. It was also because it had... the picture. The picture we'd taken together. I hadn't told Caruso, and I never would, but that was my one precious memory. The only one I had. That's why I hadn't even made a backup of it. That was dumb. If I did,
It's sentimental.
it felt like it wouldn't be as special anymore, yeah. It was a picture of my family. Back when I still considered them my family. Back when things were fun. It was the only thing I owned that I really cared about. Anyway, I need to get it back, no matter what. I gripped Karusu's hand softly for a second and headed for the door.
Taku.
She tried to get up from the bed and buckled over from pain. I wanted to run back and help her. I wanted to run over, get her back in the bed, and call Dad. That's what I wanted to do. But if I went back now, he probably wouldn't let me go. So I left the room and closed the door without looking back.
Taku.
I could hear her voice on the other side of the door. It stung a little.
Rough. Big bro, I just heard Big Sis's voice.
Her wound might have opened again. Call Dad right away.
Huh? Okay. Big bro, where are you going?
I have something I have to do.
What? You can't just leave. Stay with Big Sis. Hey, wait, Big bro.
I ignored Yui's angry yells and ran out the door. In order to get back what was important to me, I had to go back there, to AH Tokyo General Hospital.
Ah.
October 10th, 2015, Saturday. Rusu Nono stared silently at the closed door. Her heart was filled with regret. She should have tried harder to stop him. She should have ignored the wound in her stomach and clung to him harder. Fortunately, the wound didn't seem to have reopened. In that instant, her father's, Sakuma Wataru's words had come back to her. If you push yourself too hard and that wounds open up again, it might leave a scar. His words had stopped her, and Miyashiro Takaru had left because of that. In the end, maybe she only cared about herself. It was true that she didn't want to lose her family. However...
No. Don't go near that hospital.
She picked up the smartphone that had fallen to the floor when she stumbled out of bed. She opened the screen with trembling hands. On the screen was...
Sorry, I'm late.
Probably Ito? Ito saw us from across the street and ran over.
Good call. Sorry.
No, just your voice.
Oh, sorry.
Ito quickly lowered his voice. I'm sorry for dragging you out here at this hour.
It's fine. We're friends, right? And if I let you go alone and something happened, the Empress would kill me.
When I heard the word Empress, I remembered how desperately Karusu had tried to stop me. I shook my head a little to drive the image out of my mind. After I'd left yesterday, I'd gone straight to H Tokyo General Hospital. This time, I wouldn't be able to just blunder in like I had when I snuck into the psych ward. I spent a whole night looking at the locations of the ER entrances and emergency exits, as well as the security system. And then I spent the day pretending to be a visitor, to be visiting a patient, while I scouted the inside. In the evening, I went to Sarika's house. I wanted to do it alone, but I'd realized that it would be too dangerous. I needed a partner who could contact Shinjo-san immediately if something happened, and the only two people I could ask were Sarika and Ito.
I hope we can get it back. I don't know if they've got anything to do with the killer, but we can't let them keep it.
Yeah, we got that weird message too.
Don't make me remember. It still scares me.
I'd canceled my phone contract immediately, but somehow my phone had still been able to call Ito. That had scared the hell out of me. And unlike older cell phones, the smartphone was filled with personal information. There was no way I could let them keep it.
It's got something important on it, too.
What does?
It's not good to lie, I think. And you shouldn't try to make Non-chan happy since she's hurt. Oh, that's just like you, though.
Sorry.
Okay, let's go. According to the data you gathered, it's about time for the guards to change shifts.
Yeah. We nodded to each other and jogged along the wall surrounding H Tokyo General Hospital.
So far, so good. Actually, this is going better than I expected. And you've cursed us.
Intel was right. Getting into the hospital had proved easier than planned.
Congratulations.
A big part of it was that I memorized the way in, but the biggest advantage was that the rear staff entrance was unlocked for some reason. If that had been locked, we would have had to go to the ER entrance. That would mean that we'd probably be caught by the staff, but just as I was starting to worry, Sarika turned the doorknob and told me that it was unlocked.
Oh, yeah.
The door was unlocked again. Just like before, huh?
Fucking, it's her, man. It's her.
I suddenly remembered what had happened when I first snuck into the psych ward, and I almost stopped for a second to think. But then I drove the idea from my mind. I needed to focus on getting the phone right now. It was nighttime at the hospital, and this wasn't a ward where patients were kept. The lobby was pitch black. Every now and then I heard a strange, unpleasant sound, like two pieces of metal rubbing against each other. I crouched down and tried to move quietly. Someone could spot us at any moment. It was the middle of autumn, and I could still feel cold sweat running down my back.
The question is where the phone actually is, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are we here?
That girl was definitely the one who picked it up, which meant that finding her would be the fastest way, but I had no way of knowing where she was.
Right, that doesn't mean we can search the whole hospital from top to bottom. Where were we when we ran into her last time?
I retraced our steps on that day. First we hid in the bathroom, and then Sarika pissed herself.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, that was a delusion.
Positive delusion.
We went to the psych
Some
ward,
fucking reason.
and that's where we seen the sumo stickers drawn on the walls in blood.
Does that mean we need to head there first?
No, I don't think we need to go that far. Not to mention,
I don't want to.
I didn't want to go back there. When we escaped from the hospital ward, we used the emergency stairs. We went all the way to the bottom, which is where I dropped my phone and she picked it up. Which means we... Oh.
Which means we need to go to the emergency stairs? Which ones?
Well, I was in such a hurry to get out of there that I don't really remember. I hadn't been able to remember when I'd been scouting out the place this afternoon either.
You mean that random staircase that only happened to be able to find the door that was open to? Weird. I think it's that one, maybe?
Sarika started to move forward, looking around as she walked. Do you remember?
No, it's just a hunch, but...
Sarika walked forward, hesitantly. We followed.
Oh, but... She knows.
Here?
Maybe not.
No, it might have been. There was a steel door to the emergency stairs in front of us. I turned the knob and softly pushed it. It was a little heavy, but it opened without catching on anything. This one wasn't locked either, evidently. The emergency stairs stretched up and down, illuminated by the cold fluorescent lights. As I stared at them, I realized I remembered coming down these stairs.
Wow.
Yeah, this is probably the place. You're amazing, Onoe.
I got a compliment.
Erica grinned. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
We carefully walked down the dimly lit staircase. I started to get more and more nervous. Even if I'd done my homework before I'd come here, this felt even easier than last time. Maybe we're being led into a trap. Maybe something terrible is waiting up ahead to swallow us. I tried to shake my head and drive those thoughts out of my mind.
Wonder if she's out walking somewhere again tonight.
I'm not sure. What was she doing with an old woman in a dark hallway at that hour, anyway? Where did she come from? And where did she go? Where did she come from?
Where did she come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Also, if I did run into her again, what would I do? Ideally, I get my
Sorry.
Ideally, I get my phone back without causing too much of a fuss, but I couldn't imagine things would go that easy. For now.
This strategy is wild.
Yeah.
Like, okay, two people who happen to also be at the fucking hospital at the same time that I was at the hospital. Perhaps they will again still be at the hospital.
That's the biggest jump in logic, yeah.
Yeah, wild.
And for now, I thought of an escape route, but it still might be dangerous.
Hey, Taku. Look at that.
We'd reached the end of a staircase. There was a cold steel door in front of us. There were no further stairs to go down. Past this door should be the hallway where I dropped my phone. Come this far already. I told myself that there was no time for second thoughts and nodded at Sarika and Ito. Then I put my hand on the cold doorknob. Fortunately, it wasn't locked either. I looked down the hallway as I listened to the loud creaking of the hinges.
There's no one here, huh? Yeah.
Sarika and Ito had both looked a little relieved. There was no one in the hallway at all. We slipped past the open door and proceeded down the hallway, being careful not to make any noise. Maybe it was my imagination? The air seemed more stale here than it did upstairs. Identical doors stretched out on both sides, and there was no way to know what was in each room. The letters on the plates were too small to read in the dim light, unless you squinted. I got close to one to try and read it when...
Hey, someone's coming.
Sarika and I jumped at Ito's words. I listened carefully, and sure enough, from behind him I heard... very slow footsteps.
Oh, good.
And not just one pair of them. They were slow, as if they were only taking one step at a time. I recognized those footsteps. Those footsteps were... It's them!
Wild. We need to hide somewhere. But where?
The door to the emergency exit was the same way the footsteps were coming from. There was no time to get back there now.
This door's open.
I slid inside the door directly next to us. Just before I did, though, I saw the horrible words written on the plate next to the door.
What is this place? Locker room? Nope.
The walls were covered in steel cabinets. They were just big enough for someone to lie down in. This place is...
Oh, I know. Maybe we can hide inside these.
Sarika put her hand on one of the cabinet doors. Hey, wait! The words on the plate had read... Autopsy room.
Look.
Which meant that it was
still not wrong.
Yeah. Which meant that what was inside was... No, oh no, that's... I closed my eyes, imagining what I was about to see inside the cabinet.
What's wrong, Taku?
Huh? I opened my eyes when she spoke and saw there was no one. Nothing. Nothing inside.
This is a strange locker, huh?
Oh no, wait. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, wait. It isn't a locker. It's...
I whispered to her and she turned pale. Ito must have figured it out too, because so did he.
No way am I hiding in here. Let's find someplace else. Yeah, I might honestly have trouble with that myself.
The footsteps were still approaching from down the hallway, and for some reason it felt like they were coming towards this room. You're kidding me! Why would they be coming to the autopsy room? This wasn't a place that anyone would normally choose to visit. Ito was panicking too.
An autopsy. Miyashiro, what do we do? They're coming this way.
I listened carefully again. There was no doubt. The footsteps were definitely coming this way. But I didn't see any place in the room where we could hide. Except for one. Damn it.
Come on, we have to hide in here.
Sarika was shaking a little, but she put her hand on one of the cabinet doors.
You idiot, not there. We can hide somewhere else.
Where else? I looked around and didn't see any other place in the room where the three of us could hide.
If we don't hurry, they'll find us.
I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. The lamp on the cabinet was green. Did that mean it was empty? Or did it mean the opposite? I felt all the hairs on my neck stand on end, but I still managed to pull open a door. Thankfully, there was nothing inside. Sarika was normally a ditz, but at times like this, she was really courageous. Her whole body was shaking, but she managed to jump in first.
Taku, there's room for one more in here.
Huh?
I'm scared to be by myself. Please.
She grabbed my hand from inside. She was right. Since Sarika was so small, there was room for another person in there. Ito, sorry, but 3 people can't fit in here. You take the next one.
Fuck. What?
I can't let Onoe be by herself.
Oh, but I don't want to be alone in one of those either.
And then the footsteps outside stopped. Just as I expected, they stopped right outside this door. I was terrified. I almost felt like someone was pointing a cold knife towards my back.
Wait a moment, please. I'll open the door.
I heard a voice outside.
This is probably that.
There's no time! Get in, Ito!
Huh? No, wait, don't!
I ignored Ito and yanked open the door next to mine. And then I pushed him in head first. Just hurry! Ito held his hands over his mouth to desperately stifle a scream. As soon as he was all the way inside, I shut the door. It would be really bad if it was closed all the way, so I left him a little gap. And then I crouched inside and slid next to Sarika. Okay, I'm shutting it.
Okay.
I brought the door close. Close, yeah. Just leaving enough of a gap that we couldn't be seen from the outside.
Oh, yeah. Close. Weird.
The inside of the cabinet was hard and cold. It made sense, since no one who was in here would ever complain about that.
Huh.
As I was pushed up against Sarika, the parts of my body that were touching hers felt strangely warm. But we didn't have time to enjoy each other's warmth.
Serious business.
Holding my breath to make as little noise as possible. Just a moment later, they came inside. There were 5 or 6 of them. I was sure they'd all be old people, but then some of them were middle-aged or young men. If it was just old people, I was planning on stealing back my phone by force if I had to. But that was impossible now. But what were they doing in a place like this? And then I started to wonder again.
A bunch of olds, no problem.
A sudden horrible delusion made my entire body shiver. Maybe they were already dead, and this is where they slept.
Oh.
That's impossible. This isn't a horror movie or something, right?
I mean, you were just discussing psychics. So.
I tried to tell myself to be silly. I was being silly, but I could tell I was shaking. Erica was probably no different. She was clinging to me like a little girl.
I'm scared. And
then I remembered. This was just like what had happened before, when the 2 of us had seen that terrifying sight as children. At some point, I started clinging on to her, too. Okay, I'm here. It'll be just fine. I squinted into the darkness. I could see several shadows moving around. The strange men and... One of them was clearly different from the others. It was that small girl. It's her! She slowly walked across the room, straight towards where we were hiding. Did she find us? My heart started to pound faster, but it seemed that wasn't the case. The men followed her across my field of vision and stopped in a corner in front of an empty wall. What are they doing? They opened what looked like a small breaker box on the wall. You know, those things with a yellow warning sign and black or red text that read danger, high voltage?
Thank you for clarifying.
And then she took out something out of her pocket and slid it inside the box. There was a loud noise on the other side of the wall. Huh? The girl shut the door to the breaker box and put her hand on the wall and slid it to the side. The wall opened easily, as if it were weightless.
Huh.
It must have been some kind of sliding door. She led the men inside and vanished.
Okay.
The wall closed, and the autopsy room was quiet again. A secret door?
That was scary, huh?
Yeah, but I think we're okay now. I waited for a while to make sure she wasn't coming back, and finally opened the cabinet door. Erica and I crawled out. Phew. I shoveled a deep breath of air into my lungs.
This place feels like some kind of secret base.
Yeah. Why would they build a huge mechanism like this? What was going on at this hospital? What was on the other side of that wall? Hey, Ito! It's safe to come out now. I knocked softly on the door of Ito's cabinet. What?
Shin-chan! Oh, wait.
Ito leapt out of the cabinet. His face was pale and his hand was now covering his mouth. Shh! Be quiet! He crouched down to the ground, trying his best not to scream. It was only then that I realized the cabinet I stuffed Ito in had already been occupied. I could see that the lamp above the door was red.
That's the system.
I hadn't had the time to check, but still, that was a horrible thing to do to someone.
A little bit. Ugh. Shin-chan, are you okay?
Sorry, it was an emergency.
If it wasn't an emergency, you'd be dead right now, asshole.
Really, I'm sorry.
Forget it. Come on, let's go.
Ito staggered to his feet. But then he collapsed to the floor again. I waited for him to calm down, then opened the door to the breaker box like the girl had done.
A secret door?
Yeah. I looked deep inside the box. There was an RFID scanner like the ones they'd use at train turnstiles inside. We can't open this without the card. That wasn't good. What can we do now? I hadn't anticipated this. But then Serica, who had been fiddling around with different parts of the wall, let out a small cry. What is it?
It doesn't look like this was shot right.
What? Serica pointed at the floor. The wall was set to slide upon rails on the floor, but some kind of cloth had gotten stuck and jammed them, so the door wasn't shut all the way. Ito, help me.
Okay.
Gotcha. The two of us yanked the door to the side. We heard a loud clunk, like something was unlocking, and the wall started to slide open. One of the men had dropped a handkerchief or something onto the rails. When Serica pulled it off, the door began to move more freely.
Oh.
All that was left to do was slide the door open. And beyond it was...
more stairs.
I could see stairs going down. There was a sub-basement below the hospital basement. That place was protected by very elaborate camouflage.
This place seems pretty dangerous. What do we do, Taku?
Well, we've come this far. I'm going down. To be honest, I was terrified of what I might find down there. But this was something I had to do, no matter what. For just a moment, I thought of Kurusu.
Taku, please stop doing this. Don't do anything else.
Oh, no way. Ito, you guys can wait here.
Hell no.
Ito looked at the cabinets on the wall and groaned a little.
Oh, right. I'm going to. I have to protect you if you need it.
You mean I need to protect you? Which one of us was shaking in fear just a few minutes ago?
It's a ploy. I was just trying to cop a feel. I was not.
We all looked at each other and nodded a little, and we began to go down the staircase. As we went down, it got darker, and the air got heavier and more humid. Onaway, you okay?
Yeah.
And after we'd gone down for a few minutes, we ran into a door. We'd probably gone down for about a floor. I turned the knob and it opened easily. Maybe it hadn't been locked to begin with. What is this place? It was a dimly lit, musty smelling hallway. It was clear that the place hadn't been abandoned, and there wasn't a layer of dust anywhere. It seemed like it had been cleaned. But it seemed so old. There was a sense of desolation, as if no one had wanted us to use this place for anything for a very long time. Had it been like this since the hospital above us was built? And this air, I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. The sides of my head started to hurt as the horrible memories came rushing back.
Itaku, is this?
Yeah. Sarika seemed to remember too. That's right. This was the place. I didn't know how we'd done it. But when we were kids, the two of us had snuck in here, into the basement of AH Tokyo General Hospital. We were trying to investigate an urban legend known as Ami-chan. And then Sarika and I saw that. I tried to avoid thinking about it as much as I possibly could, but I failed. The memory would come back to me, fade, and then come back again. As I'd grown up, I'd even tried to convince myself that I'd never seen anything at all. But I failed at that too. It was unreal, like something out of a nightmare, but something in my heart told me that it was real. And this place proved that it was real after all. Say, yeah, it was real. Now I was sure of it. Save me. Ah.
Taku, let's go. I don't like this place. Let's go. Huh? What's gotten into you two?
Ito realized that there was something wrong with Sarika and I, and tried to pull us back up the stairs, but we couldn't do that. Because suddenly, I heard footsteps behind us.
Womp womp.
I could hear what sounded like the panting of a beast behind me.
Well, you gotta give me those directions before I read the line.
I could feel its
I don't know what to tell you.
I could feel its warm, stinking breath on my neck. Something's there. I couldn't turn around. I wanted to fall to the ground in terror. But if I did that, I somehow knew that the thing behind me would attack.
Taku.
Suddenly, I heard Sarika's thin, frail voice. She should have been right next to me, but for some reason, I couldn't see her. Onaway?
Help.
Her voice got cut off, and then there was the sound of something being crushed.
Oh, God.
And then something that sounded like someone kneading a ball of meat.
Ruh-roh.
And mixed with it was the sound of snapping bones. Ito turned around and suddenly froze with terror.
Michio, what is that? What the hell is that?
No, you idiot. Don't look. If you look, they'll kill you. So don't look! A bloody piece of meat fell to the ground at our feet.
Whew.
It was what used to be Sarika.
Oh, what? Oh.
Ito screamed. I couldn't help myself. I turned around to look at what he was seeing, and what I saw was...
Of course.
It was standing there, moaning in a voice that was filled with hatred and pain.
Huh.
Chapter 5. Gigalomaniacs, delusory dwellers of the looming outcry.
I think I'm fucking right.
Ah!
It's even got
What
the
was that?
hair and shit like she did. Dude, I'm fucking on it.
What the hell was that? A giant woman with the head of like a sumo sticker? It was almost like a bad joke. I wanted to laugh. This hilarious looking monster was going to be what killed me? What the hell kind of death was that? That's right. Laugh. Laugh. If you laugh, that thing isn't scary at all.
Right. That's how it works. Basic math.
The giant woman's hands reached out for me. As it moaned in pain, its arm moved in to crush me. Ah! And suddenly my vision went blank. I couldn't see anything. Then I realized it had probably crushed my eyes.
Well, that's not ideal.
That hilariously looking sumo sticker woman had crushed my eyes. I was going to be torn apart like Serica and killed. It was the funniest thing in the world. Could you even imagine anything stupider?
Shock is a hell of a drug.
Hey, what are you doing? Suddenly, I heard a sharp voice next to me. Something
I'm in a
covered my
delusion,
mouth.
do you mind?
Something covered my mouth to stop me from laughing. Ugh. I was grabbed from behind, and thin but powerful arms were wrapped around my neck. It hurts! I can't breathe! Stay quiet. Don't make any more idiotically loud noises. If you promise to stay quiet, I'll let you go. But if you make even one single sound, I'll strangle you until you pass out. I nodded as hard as I could. And then the hands around my neck relaxed, and it became much easier to breathe. My vision came back at the same time. Whoever had grabbed me had covered my eyes as well as my mouth. They hadn't been crushed at all. Where's that woman? Where's that monster? Calm down already. I doubled over in pain as she punched me in the stomach. I could feel stomach acid coming up into my throat and burning it, but the pain made my head feel much clearer. When I looked up, I didn't see a monster with a head of a sumo sticker anymore. Just a dark, musty hallway that stretched on forever. Huh? What? Was that just a hallucination?
Talk to you.
She's not dead.
Hey, are you okay?
Onoi? Ito? What did I...
You had some kind of fit, and then you started yelling. We almost panicked too, but then Konosata-san came to help us.
Konosata-san? Isn't she... Oh, right. I think she was the girl who was with Shinjo-san? Goddamn amateurs. What are you even doing in a place like this? Yeah, I remember that cold voice. I looked back at her. Yeah, that's definitely her. It doesn't look like someone brought you here, which means... Did you sneak in here by yourselves? How? Even we had a hell of a time getting the key to this place. So how did you get in here? Sure, we had a bit of a bad time in the autopsy room, but it hadn't really been that hard to get in here. None of the doors had been locked. When I told her that, Kunosata-san glared at us with suspicious eyes. Kunosata-san? Whatever. Anyway, you're in the way. Go home.
Come on, you can't do that to us. I appreciate you saving us, but you can't just...
Next instant, Kunosata-san had closed the gap between Ito and herself and started strangling him.
Fuck.
I told you not to make noise. Did you not hear me? Ito nodded, and tears started coming out of his eyes. I could understand why. I didn't know how she could store so much power in her tiny body, but I just felt it for myself. Huh. Ito rubbed his throat in pain as she let him go. I'll say it again. You're in the way. Now go. Her voice was intimidating enough that I almost obeyed, but we'd come here for a reason. And this place had something to do with our past. If I could, I'd wanted to find out what happened back then. Maybe we could finally be rid of the nightmare that had been making us suffer for so long. So even though she scared me, I needed to make it clear to her. Wait!
We're here because we have something we have to do. We can't just go home because you tell us to.
Oh, no way. That was what I was trying to say. Own away. You'll own away. Serica?
Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
What is it?
Nothing. Just leave. I know it's dangerous, but we have to. Who said I was worried about you? Huh? I have my own reasons for being here. I just don't want you screwing up and keeping me from achieving my goal. How cold. Why are you here then? It's got nothing to do with you. She turned around and started to walk away. Fine, we'll do what we want then.
We will.
What? She turned around and glared at us. Her glare was like a fierce panther's. I swallowed my words, but Serica didn't.
We're not going to leave if you won't even tell us why.
You brain dead it.
Come on, Taku, Shin-chan. Let's hurry and get that phone back.
Yeah.
Man, women are strong when it counts, huh?
Ito whispered in my ear. Fine. Follow me then. Just do what I tell you, okay? Huh?
Probably not. Is that alright?
Ito had become very polite toward her after she strangled him. There's no time, and it's taken a lot of careful investigation to get this far. I don't want you getting found or causing a fuss. That would ruin everything. Her arrogant manner was almost enough to make me talk back to her, but then I realized something. If she'd done a lot of careful investigation, that meant she had information that we didn't. So wouldn't it be better to pretend to obey for now? And then in the end, we can use you. We're done talking. Follow me along the wall. No loud noises or talking. She looked down the hallway and then moved over to the wall. And then she started to move, quickly and quietly. I made eye contact with Ito and Serica, then followed her. The further down the hallway we went, the darker it got. The lights were sporadically placed, and half of them were burnt out. We had to look carefully to see more than a few meters ahead. The only things I had to guide me were the black-haired girl in front of me and the wall that I was touching with my hand. The wall hadn't been repaired for a long time. The paint had fallen off in some places, and some of the steel beams underneath were exposed. This place must have been built a long time ago. We walked through the underground labyrinth as quietly as we could. None of my five senses were of any use to me now. I had no idea where I was or how I'd gotten there. But Konosata-san seemed to know exactly where she was going. Looking back, maybe we were lucky to have met her here. What's that? I had no idea how long we'd been walking for. We finally came to a part of the hallway with a row of doors on the opposite wall. The doors were made of steel and looked very strong. On the upper part of each one was what looked like a number plate. There were tiny windows on the doors, but they had thick bars on them. They looked like solitary confinement cells I'd seen on a TV show once. Are there people in here? No. No way. Space beyond the bars were pitch black, and I couldn't tell if there was anything inside.
This is pretty creepy.
Shut up and keep walking.
Sorry.
He smiled when she did that.
Uh-huh.
Ito quickly apologized, but Kunosada-san turned around and walked up to him and wrapped her hand around his throat again. Oh, guess Ito's into that kind of shit.
I was gonna say.
I'm not playing around here. You're going to get killed. Ito nodded again and again until she finally glared at him one last time and let him go. He put his hands up to his throat and moaned a little. It was obvious that Kunosada-san wasn't messing around. Maybe this place was more dangerous than I thought. Ah! Suddenly, I heard the sound of someone pounding the door from inside. Someone's inside?
Taku. What the hell's going on?
Be quiet. Don't make a fuss. But... Ah! I almost screamed, but we saw Kunosana's glare. We quickly put our hands over our mouths. The hell was that scream?
No.
Erica tugged frantically at my arm. Then Ito grabbed onto me too. And I also wanted to cling to someone, but there was no one for me to grab.
Oh, look, I just saw eyes behind that door.
What? I looked over where Ito was pointing and tried to see for myself, but I couldn't see anything. You're imagining it, man.
No, I'm sure I saw them. Those were definitely eyes. Pass.
Huh? Now there was singing? I could hear a girl singing in a tiny, barely audible voice. Creak. Creak. A woman was pushing an old baby carriage down the hallway towards us. She was the one singing.
Good. May pass. May pass.
Sarika and Ito flinched in terror. My heart was beating so fast and so loud that I could hear the sound echoing in my ears. Don't move. Get up close to the wall and stay put. He can't see us.
What?
But... do it. Don't talk. Kunosada-san pushed her back up against the wall and held her breath. We did the same, our bodies shaking with fear as we moved.
You want me to sing some more, right?
Creak. Creak. The sound of the creaking old carriage got closer and closer as the woman passed near us. Kunosada-san was right. Her eyes were hazy and out of focus, and she didn't seem to notice us, but he was only a meter away.
You may pass. You may pass.
You shall not! Slowly. Slowly. She sang as she pushed the carriage right past us.
Yeah.
I said shut up! Ito was so terrified that his body started to spasm. He gave a small cry.
And Ito was never from again. Where shall...
Ah! The woman stopped right in front of us and slowly turned around. Her empty eyes stared at us, and then slowly, jerkily, like a broken machine, she tilted her head. We clung to the wall and held our breath, unable to move a muscle. We were too scared to even close our eyes. I can't take this anymore. I want out. I want to get away from here. If I stay here another minute, I'm going to go crazy. The woman stared at us for what felt like hours. But then she looked forward once more as if nothing happened and started to walk again.
Cool. You may pass. You may pass.
We almost almost collapsed to the ground in relief. I couldn't take my eyes off of her as she disappeared into the darkness. Do you understand what kind of place you're in now?
No, not really.
Even though we've been almost crushed by the terror, Kunosata-san had been completely calm the whole time. I don't care if you want to go home. It's too late for that now. After all, that room is what I'm here for. Kunosata-san moved away from the wall and stared straight ahead of us. That room? I followed her gaze to a pair of double doors in the darkness. They were different than the others. They looked like doors to a normal lab. Come on, don't fall behind. Kunosata-san headed towards the door, seemingly completely afraid. Erika's legs were shaking too much for her to move, so Ito and I helped her as we followed. When we got to the door, Kunosata-san took out what looked like a key card from her skirt pocket. The door had a modern electronic lock, unlike the others we'd seen so far. She put the key card up to the reader, and the door swung open silently. She disappeared into the room, and we quickly followed. We all gasped as we entered the room. An entire wall of the room was lined with monitors. They were probably set up to observe something, but every one of them was off, so there was no way to tell what it was. It was hard to believe that someone would set up something like this in a normal hospital. Hey.
Psych ward security system. Yes.
Kunosata-san turned towards Ito and gave him an order in a flat, emotionless voice. You could at least watch the damn door. Listen for any sounds outside. If you hear anyone coming, tell me.
Roger.
Kunosata-san nodded and then looked around the room, and then headed straight for a computer. She took a look at the wiring behind it, and then flipped the power switch. The machine started to make a low noise. This stuff still runs? Obviously. You can see it for yourself. But is it okay to just boot it up? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Is it okay to just boot it up like that? Why? Because if it's connected to the net, they might know you turned it on.
Don't worry. I've confirmed that this is a standalone system. Oh, well, that explains it. If that's true, then at least we won't have to worry about someone seeing it from the outside. Did you think that any ideas you could come up with I wouldn't have come up with already? Don't insult me like that.
Oh, yeah.
She was obnoxious as ever. Neither of us know the first thing about you, though, so can you really blame us? Was something that neither Ito or I could say.
Anyone ever told you you suck?
The OS on the computer booted up. I looked at the screen and saw Kunosata-san entering some kind of password. The password was accepted, and the screen filled with several folders. She opened them up and began to carefully checking the contents of each one. Unfortunately, many of the files were written in English, and we had no idea what they said. Kunosata-san, however, was reading through each one and nodding. This whole folder's got a password on it, which means this is where... She seemed to be trying to unlock a password at incredible speed. Hey.
What?
You ever see her at school?
No, why?
She was at school wearing our uniform, so she's probably a student? But I guess you've never seen her either, huh?
Are you serious?
Ito seemed more shocked than I expected.
You're kidding, right? You're telling me I missed a pretty girl like this? 100% is into that.
Yeah. Not only was she attractive, she seemed incredibly smart, and she had an arrogant attitude that made her nothing like the other students. If she'd been coming to school, she would have stood out, in both a good and bad way. But Ito didn't know her?
What are you looking at?
Erica asked a question that both Ito and I had been too afraid to ask. I was sure she'd been told to shut up, but... What they were really doing here at this facility. She answered Serica's question much more easily than I expected. Then maybe I could ask something too. Does this facility have something to do with the hospital? I told you to shut up.
Googled.
Damn it. Why am I getting treated so differently? Is it because Serica's a girl? Is she one of, you know, those types?
Okay.
Don't tell me she normally dresses and acts like a boy. That would explain why Ito didn't know her. Kunosata-san ignored me and typed in a series of commands, and opened what looked like a top-secret file. And then... That's it. She smiled for the first time that I'd ever seen and clicked on a file. And then, something appeared on the screen. Was it some kind of drawing?
Rorschach.
It was a strange picture drawn in ink and paint.
What is this? Scribble?
No, that's... I've seen this somewhere before. That is... Yeah. It's definitely a Rorschach test. I remember reading about them in an issue of Cool Cat Press. You have a stupid-looking face, but I guess you're not completely ignorant. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or an insult.
It's a little of both. A Rorschach test? It's some kind of personality test, right?
That's right. Depending on what someone sees in a completely meaningless ink blot, you can analyze their personality and thought patterns. More precisely, you spill ink on a piece of paper and fold it in the middle, and then use a symmetrical image that results in. Just like Kunosata said, all the pictures on the screen were almost perfectly symmetrical. But there's doubts as to whether the Rorschach test actually functions as a psychoanalytical tool. Kunosata-san was suddenly studying the screen intently. Does that mean this is a psych ward like the one upstairs? If that was the case, I can imagine what these monitors were there for. They were there to look at each of the patient's rooms. That would mean that this was a medical facility that treated illnesses. As opposed to other medical facilities.
Right.
At least, that's what I wanted it to mean. Because... that thing that Serica and I had seen as a child. That strange atmosphere that we sensed. And that voice, which I could still hear in my ears. Save me. We had abandoned her and ran away from this place. So if that wasn't some kind of torture chamber, and this place was actually curing her, Serica and I would be free of the guilt that had been with us for so long. With my hopes. No, this place isn't anything like that. Were quickly dashed by Kunosata's answer. He opened another folder. It was filled with reports, written in Japanese this time. Clinical trials involving intermittent pulses to the senses, electrical signals that affect the lobes, and their phenomena. Just as I thought, they were doing clinical trials based on the brain science approach. A brain science approach? Clinical trials? The brain's involved, you know Kurisu is.
They're zapping brains.
Shut up, don't distract me. But I think a girl I know might have been here? What? I lied. I didn't know who she was. But I thought that if I didn't lie, then Kunosata-san would never tell me anything. Just as I expected, when she turned around, I saw the first faint glimmerings of an interest in me on Kunosata-san's face. I gave her a brief description of what I witnessed here so long ago. Kunosata-san bit her lip. Her expression was different than before. But then she forced herself to look back at the computer. Yeah, that was definitely a human experiment. A human experiment? No. That means... Save me. That means she was... That horrible vision started to eat away at me again. In the simplest terms, they were experimenting by screwing around with the human brain. Screwing around with the human brain? That's just... I told you, this place isn't anything like you thought it was. Kunosata-san was trying to keep her face as expressionless as possible. Then the second she opened up another file, gasped a little. I could see the words on the screen as well. Wait a second. What is this? She was completely focused on reading the report, so she didn't notice that I was looking over her shoulder as well. Clinical trials on extrasensory perception? Specific tendencies of expression for special event variations? What were event variations?
Oh, shit.
Konosata-san clicked a mouse to move to the next page. I read along with her. Pathogenesis via visual stimulation. Accuracy rating 9.25%. Manifestation via induced dopamine emission in the central limbic system. Damage and removal of the hypothalamic area. No pathogenesis seen. Thought tracing, remote viewing, influence on events via amplified delusions. Over half the report was filled with specialized language that I didn't really understand. But by desperately connecting the words I did know, I managed to make some sense out of the report. And
Ernest.
there's no way.
One of those sounded a lot like what he does.
Yeah. I was stunned. Is that really possible? The girl who cried to us for help was being experimented on in here. And the point of those experiments was to alter the human brain and make it develop supernatural powers? That explained why Shinjo-san and Kunosada-san were talking about psychics. And that was the commonality I expected was lurking behind the murders. Hey! Kunosada-san caught me looking and threatened me in a low voice. But I didn't have time to worry about that. Is this true? It sounds like science fiction. He looked unhappy but gave in. The experiments seem to have been going on for quite a while. Actually, it's safe to assume the entire point of this hospital was to camouflage those experiments. This whole hospital? Yeah. But are they still... Huh? Are those experiments still going on? That's true. Is she still here? No, it looks like they were shut down after a certain event. A certain event? They were shut down 6 years ago, on November 6th, 2009.
Dun, dun, dun. Isn't that...
the day of the Shibuya earthquake?
Did the earthquake cause too much damage for them to continue their research?
No, that's not right. The hospital was well away from the epicenter. There was no damage at all. Then why? That's what I'm here to find out. Kunosada-san stopped short and clicked her tongue. She must have decided that she told us too much. Just stay quiet. She pushed me away from the screen lightly. It looked like she didn't want me to read anymore. Huh. What's this? Kunosada-san's hand froze on the mouse. She was staring intently at the screen. Then she started to talk to herself. The effect of the 11th Rorschach on the brain. The 11th? She just knocked me away so I couldn't see the screen, but I couldn't help but lean forward. Her voice was just that strange. What's wrong? There were only 10 Rorschach tests. I'd never heard of an 11th. Shut up, you. Kunosada-san turned around and glared at me. When she did, I caught a glimpse of the monitor. The screen was filled with thumbnails of different Rorschach tests. And Kunosada-san was about to click on the mysterious 11th one. Kunosada-san clicked to open the file. When she did...
oh, I bet you. Sumo sticker?
What appeared on the screen was... a sumo sticker?
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on. I felt sick. I couldn't stand. I collapsed on the floor. It felt like something was crawling up from the bottom of my intestines. That something was bugs. Tiny slimy bugs with lots of little feet were crawling up from my stomach onto my throat, scattering disgusting fluids behind as they moved. The disgusting crawling sensation passed through my throat and out of my mouth. What the hell were these things? Stop it! Help me! I felt sick! Help me! Get out of my body!
Bleh. Taku. Taku, snap out of it. Taku.
Huh? Did I fall asleep? No, that's not it. I looked at the screen and suddenly felt sick. And then passed out? Where am I? My head feels horribly cold.
It feels kinda good.
I just heard Sarika's voice, but I can't see her. Where am I?
Look, look. Look at Shinchan.
Ito's here?
You and I are matching, Taku.
Matching? What is she talking about? When I looked up to the side, I saw it, and my head cleared instantly. Sarika was next to me, lying in the same kind of seat I'd seen the girl in the vision sitting in. What was strange was her head. There was something on top of it. Slimy and pink. No, that wasn't it. That was...
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
That was... her brain. The top of Sarika's skull was completely gone, with several electrodes sticking out of what remained.
Yeah.
I suddenly heard a high-pitched voice from the other side. It took some time before I realized that voice belonged to Ito. That's how insane it sounded. Good luck.
What?
I couldn't tell if Ito was screaming in pain or pleasure. His brain was exposed and part of it seemed to be missing. Ugh.
Doesn't this feel good, Taku?
Ah! I tried to move, but I was held down tight and couldn't budge. Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Don't move. I heard a cold voice from above my head.
Snap.
The voice was...
Back to reality.
I'll make you just like him now. So stay put. Something cold touched my head. At least, that's how it felt. Not yet. It felt good. Like my brain was going to melt. And so, I wasn't sure where I ended and the rest of the world began. Delusion ended. Huh? Where am I? Am I back in the basement?
Taku, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Can you stand up? Here.
Ito slowly helped me to my feet. Sorry, what happened to me?
That creepy sticker suddenly appeared on the screen, and you got scared, and you tripped and hit your head.
I see. I rubbed the back of my head, and sure enough, there was a big bump. Konosata-san was staring at me from in front of the screen. I thought she was going to complain again, but instead, she pulled me up to look at the screen. There's something I want you to see. Come here. Oh. If it's that sticker, I'd rather not. I don't feel well. No, that's not it. Just come here. First you want me not to look, then you want me to look. What? Fine. Since it was clear that she wasn't going to take no for an answer, I stood next to her. This is the file I want you to look at. Konosata-san tapped the report on the screen with her nails. It states that the 11th Rorschach, that image you just saw, was found to have some kind of effect and was first used in an experiment in 2007. 2007 was 2 years before the Shibuya earthquake. That was right about the time people started to see the sumo stickers, if I remembered right. And that was the same year we'd snuck in here to find the truth out about the urban legend of Ami-chan. I took the mouse and read the next part. It was found that those with the potential to cause event variations responded differently to the 11th Rorschach and other subjects? This phenomenon was first observed in subject number 79, Minamisawa Senri.
We know that name for some reason.
It was on Nono's phone.
Gotcha.
And then I stopped scrolling down the screen. There was a picture of a girl there. Ah! Well, do you know this girl?
So, Taku, this girl.
Ah. Remember her. That was the girl. That was the girl we saw that day. Save me. That was the girl who also saw us and begged for help. Kunosata-san looked at me. This is the friend you were saying might be kept here, right? Yes. I wasn't sure how to answer, but I decided to keep up the lie that she was my friend. The truth was, I had only just now learned that her name was Minamisawa Senri. I see. But Kunosata-san looked very sad. Didn't know she was even capable of looking that way. She stared at the picture of Minamisawa Senri on the screen. I don't like you, but I'm willing to show respect for the fact that you've never forgotten your friend who suffered here. Huh? Her eyes grew just a little softer. But I felt a cold sweat as I looked at them. No. It wasn't out of friendship that I'd never been able to forget the girl named Minamisawa Senri. It was because she was in my nightmares. But I couldn't say that. All I could do was try to make it hard to tell what I was really thinking. You wanted to save her, but you couldn't. But that's not your fault. You don't need to blame yourself. That's not it. That's not what happened. I've been too afraid to save her, and I abandoned her. I wonder what she's doing now. Kunosata-san didn't realize what I was thinking, though. He called up more data on the girl called Minamisawa Senri. Since she showed special symptoms in response to the 11th image, she was the subject of rather forceful experiments. But she survived. Full experiments? The kind that could kill you? When I heard that, I almost threw up. I did my best to keep Kunosata-san from finding out. However, she was unlucky enough to be close to the epicenter of the Shibuya earthquake, and ever since then, she's been missing.
Well, I mean,
Missing?
clearly not a suspect then.
To be more precise, this whole facility was shut down immediately after the earthquake, so there's no more data on her. But there's a good chance she didn't survive it. I see. It was horrible, but I felt a little less like throwing up. At the very least, she hadn't died because of the experiments or because we'd abandoned her. Hearing that made me feel like I'd been forgiven a little.
If she died because she was in here,
Yeah.
then she kind of died because you didn't save her.
A violent... He was also in 6th grade when they came down here, too.
Well, no. Yeah, I'm not saying he's
Yeah.
like genuinely. But in not getting her out, that did lead to
right.
her ultimate demise if it's because she was in this facility.
Yeah.
I guess, you know what I mean? Yeah.
A violent sense of self-hatred came over me again. I'm sorry, Minamisawa Senri-san. She'd been practically tortured. I'm going to hate saying that.
Yeah.
She'd been practically tortured as part of those experiments and then had been caught in the earthquake. But Suddenly I felt something tugging at the edge of my memories. Minamisawa-san? Haven't I heard that name somewhere before? But then
Indeed
where?
you have.
And from who?
Huh? But
Before I could think about it any further, Ito spoke up hesitantly. What?
you said that this facility was shut down, but that doesn't make any sense. There are still people here. We saw them, and there's also that little girl. Yeah, you're right. Wow, we followed that little girl down here. If this place was abandoned, what's she doing here?
Oh, that? Kunosata-san closed a file on Minamisawa Senri, and her face took on its usual cool, emotionless expression. This place is now being used as an institution to house subjects who encountered trouble during their experiments. Trouble? During their experiments? It's an underground prison for patients whose brains were damaged in failed experiments, or who simply went insane. Some are kept in locked cells, and well, some aren't. Cold chill right down my body.
So that's who got the phone. You may pass. You may pass.
You can't mean that's not.
That's impossible. That's horrible.
These people are willing to do anything to achieve their goals. These are the kind of people you're up against. That's why I warned you at the start. Konosata-san opened another file. According to this, there are still around 20 people being kept here. You scroll down the page and a new picture appeared. Oh, wait, that girl. That was the girl we've been following.
That's got to be her, Taku. Her name is Yamazawa Uki-chan.
Ah, AH stands for Arkart.
Oh. Go figure.
It looks like she was originally a test subject for the experiments too. Huh? She was born in 2001, so she's 14 now. This shattering revelation was presented to us as a mere matter of fact, as if it was the most ordinary thing imaginable. Erica covered her mouth with her hand and her eyes went wide. So she suffered the same fate as Minami Sawa Senri? Fortunately, she managed to survive the experiments to the end without going insane. Now she's been given the job of caring for the patients on this floor. Caring for the patients? I thought she was a criminal who stole my smartphone and threatened me. And what's more, I thought she was either connected to the killer, or that maybe she was the killer herself. But now I'm not so sure. No, stop. Don't let yourself be fooled by her looks or her past. In that situation, she wasn't the only one who could have picked up my phone. And if she was a test subject here, she might have some kind of power, too. You need to do something. You'd need something like that if you want to make a call from a canceled smartphone. As my mind raced, Konosata-san was checking out every bit of data on the machine. But the results of the experiments... Oh, here we go. The results of the experiments show that only 0.01% of subjects were able to manifest a die sword. The experiments were judged a failure, and it was decided that another course should be pursued. I knew it. Those idiot scientists. Konosata-san sounded uncharacteristically ticked off as she closed the folders and turned off the PC. Die sword? That strange word snapped me out of my reverie. It seemed like that was what she'd been looking for. I looked at her, hoping for some kind of answer, but she just glared back at me with terrifying eyes. Time's up. We're leaving.
Huh?
If we stay here any longer, they'll find us. But we haven't found what we're here for. Your plan was terrible to begin with. You don't even know the layout of this facility, do you? Oh, no, but she was right. I snuck in here as a child, but that was all. I didn't remember the details. Well, then there's no point in even looking. Damn it. She's right, but there must be some way. I looked around the room and saw a row of monitors. If they were on, they could at least tell us what was going on in the facility. Maybe they could tell us where Yamazawa Uki was.
What's wrong, Miyashiro?
I'm looking for a power source for these monitors. If we can turn them on, then maybe... It's useless. We don't even know if the observation system is even functional. Huh? Suddenly, the room was bathed in pale light. All the monitors on the wall turned on. What? All we could do was gasp. What we thought were security camera monitors were now showing... Hundreds of sumo stickers. Ah! I was so shocked that I almost screamed.
Taku, is this?
Inside the monitors on the wall was face after sumo sticker face, all looking at me. What was this? What was going on?
Interesting.
Oh man, you want to call it here?
Oh yeah, I suppose we might as well.
Well, we could finish out the scene.
Any.
There's a lot of plot going on right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like we're kind of in the thick of it, but I mean, I don't know when we're gonna hit a break. I'm starting to drag a bit here. We may as well put a pause on it here.
Sounds good to me.
Next time.
All right then. Well, what are your thoughts now?
I'm gonna stick to my guns. But no, it's definitely starting to feel more like okay, there was like a bunch of special powers handed out during that earthquake thing. Whatever actually happened, kicked out a bunch of these like, X-Men type situation, and then they've got to go around and like catch up after them. I feel like this is basically how the CW Flash went as well, more or less.
Okay. Yeah.
But I still like very much the idea that it's Onaway, so I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. Okay. So it didn't.
Yeah. No good justification for it at this
point. When the delusion came up saying that she was killed, did that shock you any?
Yeah, a little. But we didn't see it. And when we turned back, the hair of the like sumo monster was like Onaway's basically. Like it had the same shape. It wasn't like the same color.
Well, I
think they were really trying to make it look like what the Konosata or whatever.
It was Konosata. He was delusioning her as a monster.
Yeah. But like at the time when I saw it, I was like, oh well, he's just seeing shit. But the idea that the delusions are now happening without our picks is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if that's like if you pick all the positive ones, you'll get different delusions at this phase of the game when they're happening on their own or not or whatever. They probably wouldn't, but it opens the door for some interesting stuff when you're doing that with your game. It's kind of a cool concept.
It did, and also, I mean, I'm sure you picked up on it, but when they revealed that the sumo sticker was the 11th Rorschach, and how people with special connections, and Takaru's interacting with them.
Yeah, it's been cool, and like that is a good setup because then it's like, oh no. Yes, technically it's the murderer that's been putting them up, but they're not a calling card. They're they're the murder weapon. Like, what I was saying, them up, and the people are seeing them and then doing whatever weird shit, which is a cool like reversal or whatever.
Well, yeah, what I was saying though is what she was saying was those who manifest those event variations, whatever that is, are the only ones that react to the 11th Rorschach. And every time Takaru has seen it, he's reacted to it.
Yeah.
So maybe Takaru might be psychic too.
Yeah, he's got like powers.
Yeah.
And that's his like they mentioned an ability to like use delusional thinking to manipulate the real world or something when they were listing powers.
Yeah.
So that was the one I was like, yeah, that kind of sounds familiar or whatever.
Yeah, don't worry. That talk is coming up next time. That was when I thought we were having the day.
I was wondering, I was going to say, because like, the last time you said, okay, so we're going to get a whole bunch of exposition. And I felt like there was a lot more in this one. It wasn't that there was none in the previous one, but there's more in this one. And there's even more coming, it seems like, too.
She hinted a little bit at it when she mentioned the die sword.
Right.
I have thoughts, and I will share them after we have the talk. But this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
Chapter 5, we're now learning about gigalomaniacs, which, oh boy, that's a whole can of worms.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. We shall see how you what you think about it after you hear how it works. But yeah, this is gonna do it for us tonight. If you've been following along and want to get notified of when we go live again, we go live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So we'll be back here on Thursday. If you want to know about Gigalomania and psychics and what a dice sword is, be here Thursday night because I'm very certain now that it is going to happen because I think it's like right after this scene.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we have a Discord. You join it, you get notifications there. We have a Patreon if you want to support us monetarily. You don't have to. Just showing up for the streams or watching the VODs, that does it for us. And yeah, we'll see you back here Thursday night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.